Welcome, people, to another episode of Natty News Daily. This one's going to be a little bit different than what myself and Dan and James, who couldn't unfortunately attend this episode, have been doing. We're chatting with the newly dubbed WNBF UK crew. So welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks for having us on. Thank you very much.
Yeah, so I want to really just give you guys the floor and, really explain the changes that have undergone, specifically over there in the UK within the WNBF and stuff like that. Obviously, you guys are very well known over there, but maybe quickly give an introduction into who you guys are and what you're all about.
Sure, of course. So we'll introduce yourself. So I'm Dr. Andrew Chappell. At WNBF Pro, and this is my partner.
I'm Steph Noble and WNBF Fit Body Pro as well.
Exactly. So we're bodybuilders ourselves, and we should make this clear right from the start. When you sign the contract to become an affiliate with the WNBF, right, there's a little section that says who's going to be the president, and I made it very clear to Stefanie right at the start. I said, look, Steph, you can be president if you want. You can be president if you want. And she was like, no, Andrew, you be president. I was like, are you sure? Because it doesn't really bother me. So now she's a bit upset because now she's VP, and she's not liking the fact that I'm calling her VP, right?
So now you're going after it now. Now it's down.
Oh yeah. His nickname for me all week has been "Alright, VP."
You might have some more news in the next couple of months if there's been a coup, and
I've taken it over.
The titles don't mean anything. It's just we're being silly.
Yeah, we're just being silly, but it's very exciting, and we're both. Of course, we've got such a fundamental sort of, I guess, how would I call it? Just grounding in the UK for natural bodybuilding. We've been in the natural bodybuilding field for between us, around 25 plus years in athletic pursuits. So through our own actual bodybuilding careers. Through coaching. So we run, of course, pro prep coaching, and we coach clients through the contest prep and off-season phases. And then, of course, just within the community and having had the opportunity to compete and be part of the natural scene for a very long time. So,
I started in 2006, guys. That's when I did my first show as a junior. And I've been fortunate. I've competed for everyone. I've competed everywhere. And I've been fortunate. I think I must have done about 4 or 5 world finals with different feds around the places, with the PNBA, the IFPA, the WNBF, the DFPA. So I've seen it all. We've been around and I've judged all the way up there. I've done drug control officer stuff. I've been involved in promoting. I've coached athletes. So I've been around forever doing this sort of stuff. And Steph's the same.
Yeah, I'm the same, and more prolifically in the coaching and posing front. So I'm a national touring posing coach, and I would say the majority of the posing that I do are for the natural federations across here. So between us, I think, I've been competing since 2011, 12 actually. 11 was when I started. So we've both been on stage for a number of years now, and we've explored all avenues right through baseline, from the national level with all of the federations over here naturally, and all the way through to pro level. So exactly the same. We've got a lot of stories in common, and we feed off each other's experiences in different ways. So it's very exciting.
That's it. So I guess we would say we're bringing a lot of experience to this, and this is something, guys, we've been thinking about. Right, we want to run a show. We've been thinking about running a show for a long time, like 2022 I was probably thinking, or 2023 I was thinking, right, I need to promote a show because I've done the bodybuilding forever. Still not retired yet, by the way, guys. I'm probably going to compete again at some point, but we want to run a show. And then this opportunity came up, and we're just like, do you know what, I guess now's the chance. You seize the day, as we say, Kirk DM.
It seemed like a very natural decision for us. As Andrew said, if it hadn't come along, we would have been looking to do a show at some point anyway. When the news hit, of course, that UKDFBA were moving away into the other side, I guess, from PNBA point of view, the first thing that came to mind was, we can't lose WNBF in the UK. We can't lose an opportunity for naturals who know that, if we take just WNBF in itself, that is the pinnacle for us in the natural bodybuilding community to get to. Effectively, WNBF is the IFBB of the natural side of this sport. And so for us, we really wanted to make sure that wasn't going to be lost. and give people an opportunity that we've had. Because we just thought WNBF UK needs a prolific place in the natural bodybuilding community, and we need to make sure that that's then giving people the journey to the worlds and to European shows as well. So lots to talk about there.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Bombarded you with stuff there, guys. So probably answered some questions already. But does that all make sense?
One of the things that, we had talked about when we kind of found out the news, we did an episode there just a couple of days ago. And one of the things the three of us commented on was the WNBF, potentially losing a lot of talent in the UK effective of this change, and how much that would, hurt as a whole, right? There's so many high quality athletes, where you guys are, that, come to worlds and all that kind of stuff. And if that was just, okay, that's no more, like that would suck. And especially, at the end of the day, we're all fans of bodybuilding, and just to see, a group of talent potentially not come and compete at the highest level, like that would just suck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. I mean, you're correct. There's loads of great athletes in the UK. There's tons of them. I've been fortunate to compete against loads of these guys myself and Steph, the female competitors. So you want to see the UK represented in the States at the WNBF Worlds. That's a country. I'm sure when you guys are looking through the list of athletes that are coming across, you're thinking, okay, we've got guys coming around stateside. Who's coming across from Europe? And you're probably looking, okay, who's coming across from the UK? Because we've had great success in the years of champions, so it's a great pool. And yeah, the guys should have the opportunity to do it. Fortunately, there's a number of guys down the years that won WNBF pro cards. So as long as they've been renewing their pro status, they're still good to go and compete in those championships if they want to go and do it. The beauty of the WNBF pro card is that once you've got one of them, because it is the most prestigious, you can just apply for something like a PNBA pro card or a OCB or a DFAC, and you'll get one because it is the pinnacle.
Wow. So when we'll go back a little bit, when you were thinking about potentially trying to run something yourself, would that be was your mindset to try to get it affiliated with an organization at the time, or was it something maybe solo that you're just kind of saying, okay, it's under our names, it's separate, wherever it goes, it goes?
I mean, it was just an idea that I was throwing out in your head. You have these thoughts, and you're thinking, right, you want to run a show, you're thinking about the classes, you're thinking about how you're going to do it, you're thinking, right, how am I going to do this? Because there's 4 bodybuilding federations in the UK that run natural shows, and you're thinking, well, should I try and affiliate with them, or shouldn't I try and affiliate with them? So it was really in its sort of nascent phase, working out, right, I could do it independently, I couldn't do it. There's prestige associated with you do it with something like the WNBF brand, for example. So it would have been a nice idea to maybe try and affiliate with them. I don't know if it would have came off trying to do it myself, but I mean, what do you think?
I think it was in its infancy sort of idea stages, but I think where the idea comes from, again, is just we're so passionate about giving naturals a platform over here. And from competing for years, you do this as a competitor. You go to a show and you go, that bit was great, or that bit wasn't so great, or, and you kind of collate all these different avenues that you see in front of you and think, that was such an awesome experience for me. And over the years, we've discussed it at length. I love that section of this show. If we could take that and then pull on this side of this show, that could be a perfect package, that kind of thing. And so I think with the ideas we've had in their baby step stages, again, as soon as that opportunity kind of popped up and we realized this is a great chance for us to set up a meeting, or, the way it came about, I'm sure we'll go into that, is to discuss that and then have the reign to now actually do something pretty special and fresh and different. And to, just from speaking in the community to the people we know, to other bodybuilders, to the talent you're talking about, we know what people love at the shows. And the whole essence of what we want to do is bring just something fun and about the bodybuilding, about the bodybuilder back into kind of just the mainstream of natural bodybuilding over here. And then, of course, have the beauty of that journey straight to WNBF, because that's, for the natural competitor who's serious about really wanting to go for it. And that's what you want to do. You want to compete with the best.
The other thing, the fact about running your own show is, as well as, I mean, no disrespect to anyone else in the UK running shows or that, but myself and Steph are 20 years younger than those people. So we're coming at it from a different angle. We're a different generation. So I think
the social media generation.
Yeah, well, exactly. The iGen. We're a different generation. From the ones before, and I mean, and everyone's got their own flavor of bodybuilding and what it should be, and I guess we're coming at it from a slightly different flavor, if you like. I mean, there's nothing wrong with what we've seen around, but you do pick elements, think that would be nice at that, and that would be nice at that. So it's new ideas, a new way maybe, and a new fresher approach.
So obviously both of you competed in a lot of different organizations, and you're kind of you kind of said like you see this good thing from this show, this was not so good in that show. What are the biggest things that you want to get in place and do with a show? Like what are the top priority items, would you say?
We'll probably both see the first one, drug testing.
Oh yeah, drug testing's got to be number one, man.
That's got to be the absolute. You know, that's got to be seen. It's got to be understood. It's got to be clear. Everyone needs to have a clear understanding of what's going to be expected of them as a natural athlete at the show, what the processes are going to be. So that's going to be really, really clearly stipulated from the offset. But it isn't going to be something to deter people. It's to actually welcome it into the sport and not be so hidden behind kind of what is the drug testing all about. It's putting it out there and kind of celebrating it as something that's really important and something that's really good. So that's definitely going to be up there. From my perspective, obviously the stage element, the performance. Yeah,
you need a beautiful stage.
You've competed for potentially up to 40 weeks, some people more so, you know, and you want to get to that venue and feel when you walk through those doors, this is something that I'm going to remember and have a really good time. And I think the memory sake of it, the lighting, you know, the stage element, the actual bringing the athletes onto a kind of a platform that celebrates natural bodybuilding is going to be very important. So the creativity element of it for us, and particularly for me, is going to be massive. I come from actually a performance education background as well. So from a production management side of things, I want this to be something people can remember. So
it's a very,
I mean, you've all been,
I was gonna say it's a very visual sport, so all the visuals are really important. I know I did 2 shows back in my 2018 season, and you know, there was a big difference between the lighting and the stage shots from those 2 shows, and it's still a regret of mine that the second show, which I won my OCB pro card, I looked substantially better. The stage shots and the lighting were just not good. They just to be blunt, they weren't good. I looked in photos much better in my first show, but I can tell you I didn't look much. I looked a lot better in my second show. You know, I was 7 pounds lighter and substantially leaner. You know, so.
People don't realize like the lighting is so important for that look, for the bodybuilder to see themselves properly when they get those photos back, but also for the judging. We need to see the competitors. You need to be able to see the fine details. You need to, you know, there should be no shadows where there shouldn't be, etc. So that's going to be a really big thing at our shows, is making sure the lighting and the perspectives, we can actually really properly judge the competitors.
I think
the way we want to.
As you pointed out, Dan, like, being a competitor, and again, that's something that I think really gives us an advantage, is that we are competitors. We've competed.
You get it, yeah.
You get it. You appreciate that. Okay, you need to have good stage. You want to have good photographs from the stage as well, so that you can look back at it and be like, because that's very often all you've got is the photographs. Once you've done it, you might get your trophy, your award, and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But you want to be able to look back and say, yeah, I looked awesome there, and not be able to go, damn it, I wish I took more pictures in my hotel room before because I was disappointed with the shots I got.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I think we've hit on 2 major elements. Like drug testing, because you've got to have without drug testing and legitimate drug testing, you've not got a natural bodybuilding show. And that's one thing. And I've been disappointed at shows I've been in the natural world in the past where there's just been no drug testing. It's been disappointing, man. And then the other thing you want good lighting and a good stage show experience around it. So that's a major important element.
And just from the fact that, you know, the competitors, we all go into the shows, right? And we know what we're there to do. But one of the big things, and especially we talk about this with our clients all the time, you're looking at that from what am I going to be able to go away from this and achieve in my off seasons to be better, to you know, and you need, exactly going back to those photos, you need clear understanding of that picture. So when you're standing next to whoever is maybe one or second or third or wherever it is, what are your improvements you're going to make? So we're thinking about the post-show and what we need our competitors to go away from and think, that was great, I want to come back better, and I've actually got what I need from this show to make those improvements and go away from. So that's kind of a big deal for us as well. What else? I mean, good judging. So we've got a process coming up with training of our judges. And so we want to really put our sort of judging panels through a coherent training system so that they are all on the same page.
Yeah.
So there's no discrepancies between what they're looking for, etc.
I think so. I mean, the WNBF run workshops on this where guys can go and girls can go and get accredited as judges. I'm sure you guys have been to shows and you've looked along the lineups and you've seen a lot of bald heads and a lot of grey hair, and you thought, man, who are these old crusties? You need to get some fresh new blood in here. Not you guys are laughing, but you know what I'm talking about. You're like, guys who have grown, who've got this one idea of what bodybuilding is, and they're maybe, I don't want to say out of touch, because there's lots of great examples of people who are a little bit older and very knowledgeable, and they get the new classes and everything like that. But again, it's that injection of new ideas and a fresh approach. And do you know what, guys? I don't know how a lot of your female listeners might feel about this, but even when I'm watching a show and I've judged some panels and the female classes come out and I'm sitting next to guys and I know they can't be arsed judging these classes. They don't understand these classes. So there needs to be a bit more female judges on the panel per se as well. So
balance,
more opportunities in that respect, and actual trained judges. So that you can eliminate bias and know what it is that you're actually looking for, your ideal at the bodybuilding contest itself, if that makes sense.
Well, I would think having a judge that's competed themselves, and especially if they've competed in that class, they understand a lot more the nuances. Like, obviously it sounds like there's a lot of coaching and workshops and stuff for the judges, but having competed yourself and having to look at yourself under those criteria, you gain a whole new eye for it.
Absolutely.
It makes competitors better. I find my own coaches better. I mean, because you can look at things from the audience, but as soon as you become a judge, you get it much better. Your eye gets so much more tuned in. I have to say though, I mean, there's some guys that I've been around for a long time, and I thought, how can you be in the sport for 20 years and be a judge as well, but not have an eye for it?
Sounds like you guys are really taking it from an athlete's perspective and making it, all your years of competing, judging, being at shows, and just slowly collecting that data of like, what would I want, what matters to me, what would matter to the athletes, and really trying to compile this like ultimate, perfect show, for lack of a better term, right? Which is great because, we're all competitors and we all want to get the best experience. And, for you guys to be analytical and say like, oh, if they don't have good photos, how can they figure out what to improve upon? Like those little things, they all matter. And like Dan said, I've been in the same situation where, I've got great photos backstage pumping up, and then when I go on stage, the photos are shit. And
the lighting washes you out, and it's orange, and
the lighting's too harsh. There's too much shadow, so you can't see anything, and that just, like you said, especially for at the end of the day, most competitors are not going to place, so they don't come home with a trophy. They come home with the photos they have. And if all their photos are either shitty cell phone photos from their parents, girlfriend, boyfriend, or whatever, and some shitty photos from the photographers, like that, that can really ruin the experience, because all your collection of memories aren't great. So I really commend that. And obviously we all feel very strongly about the drug testing side of the sport, and some places lack thereof. So I think really putting that at the pinnacle of things is only going to help, not only the WNBF UK and the WNBF, but just natural bodybuilding as a whole. If there continues to be a higher standard of drug testing and importance of that, it's only going to benefit the sport and really make it legit. You know what I mean? There's still, you know, all kinds of stories of people, you know, skirting through and passing tests or not being tested when maybe they should be. But if that can be just continually more refined and standardized, it's only going to help the sport.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, you know, our whole kind of ethos around the WNBF UK and, you know, leading this, and it obviously the first event being the Supernaturals this season, is kind of a celebration again of natural bodybuilding. We've been in a terrible place this last couple of years, everyone, everywhere. And I think, you know, coming out at the back of this and being able to give natural bodybuilders more opportunity to compete when they've been you know, they've been without it for so long. It's only from my perspective going to excite people more, you know, bring more kind of enjoyment into it, because it's a celebration of something, you know, that we've all come away, we've missed a lot of it. And certainly I know that me and Andrew, we're normally at all the shows across the UK, and we're just dying to get back into it. And just,
that's exactly what we were saying the other day, Leroy, is that, you know, there's a lot of people really just itching to compete because they wanted to last year. They haven't been able to compete, or shows have been canceled. And it's like a lot of people are itching to get after it.
Yeah, for sure.
Already here in Canada, things are getting moved back again. So it's like, you know, all last year, all you're thinking about is, okay, 2021, it's going to be better. It's going to be better. Here we are. Our season, you know, typically starts in April, and things are already being canceled and moved back. And it's just like, man, you're killing me here. Because same as you, like, I would be at, you know, 10 shows over the course of a year as a fan or as a coach or as a competitor. And, you know, you lose that, right? And as a bodybuilding fan, you know, it's just like people that go to the movies all the time because they like the movies. You just lose that part of your life, and you know, itching to see it back.
For sure. And that's why I think, you know, this is just the perfect time for us. It's right bang smack in a peak season. Hopefully, touch wood, that everything goes ahead. UK is kind of opening up.
UK's been,
yeah. I mean, we're just, England gyms have just, you know, reopened as of this week. Scotland gyms, we've got another week and a half to go. The other areas of the country are all opening up, so it's exciting. And if we can just follow through with it, we're looking at this being the end of October, early November. We're literally in the final stages of pinning this date, so we'll have it hopefully by Monday. So it's very exciting. And I think, again, I just echo the kind of, we've got a lot of just momentum behind us with is a new fun show that leads to also keeping WNBF on the map here. And that's
for sure
massive for us. So.
And I mean, what's been great is the amount of people behind the scenes that have reached out to us, you know, like our current WNBF pros that have seen the move and then seen us take this on. I'd be like, man, I'm so glad you took this up, and I want to compete and things like that. So there's a lot of people who are really pleased about this in the UK, that they've still got the opportunity to associate themselves with the WNBA.
We're currently at the moment trying to we're umming and ahhing between running the pro show this year or actually leaving that for next year. The aim is to do the show in the autumn, and then follow through with 3 qualifiers and a big finals at the end of the year next year. So we're plotting out the dates with venues at the moment. But there has been a lot of uptake for asking for a pro show. So it's, you know, we don't want to run before we walk, but at the same time, we're so eager to provide it, you know, so we're just working things out in the background, but we will obviously have those details out as soon as we've got them. So for your listeners, it's coming. So be careful. Yeah.
And you touched a little bit on obviously like who is qualified. Could you dig a little bit more into detail? Obviously, with that split occurring, you know, like there's probably a lot of questions floating around about qualification. You know, am I still qualified to compete as a pro? Am I not? You know.
Well, the short answer to that is yes. So if you've won a WNBF pro card, then you're still eligible so long as you've renewed your membership. I believe they carried over the memberships from 2020. I see you nodding your head, Leroy, so I think that's right. Yeah.
Two of my buddies here in Canada, they tried to compete last year, and obviously for chances out of their control, they couldn't. And that was they had just won it 2019, so they had to go last year to quote unquote be a pro.
Yeah.
But the WNBF, you know, Canada was like, no, guys, don't stress about it. We'll carry it to 2021. So, you know, hopefully this year cooperates and they can then compete as a pro.
That was good to see them make the right move on that too, to bend the rules when it absolutely made sense, and not just dragging them out to like 2 weeks out and then say, oh, nope, shows are canceled.
That's the worst.
It was sensible, actually. Yeah, it was because they said you've got to renew anyway. They didn't have any shows running basically last year, or I'm not sure what the situation really was in Canada or States, because they could have took the money on the pro cards and banked it for trying to run it for the next season. But sensible. I'm glad they made the right move on that one.
Yeah, for sure.
So, in the response to the question, your card is still eligible. So that means that you can still compete. And the beauty of the WNBF Pro card, as I said before, is because you've come through the stringent drug testing program of getting polygraphed, getting drug tested, and winning your class. That is the pinnacle. So that means that if you were to apply for something like a PNBA Pro card, they would give you it without actually having to qualify through their events, such as the prestige of that card. You can't do it the other way around, though.
Yeah.
Because, well, the WNBF have got those standards which they want you to uphold from there. I mean, they've got the biggest shows in the world and the best athletes, so I can see why they've got that standard.
Yeah, and it just opens up the doors for allowing European competitors to come over and compete with us, and vice versa. We can allow natural competitors here to go over and compete in the WNBF European shows as well, or further afield if they wish. Obviously, that's more expensive for people, but I know a lot of competitors who like to travel and maybe want to go and have a go in France or Germany, etc. when we can possibly do that. We just came off the back of a meeting a couple of days ago with all of the European affiliates for the WNBF. And it was really, I think I realized at that point just how community driven WNBF is across the world. And that really excites me. I wish I'd actually known more about the opportunities as an amateur that I had potentially to do that, or as a pro as well, going to the European shows. So we're going to make that more of an option as well for competitors over here, so that we can cross promote and help everyone enjoy the sport a bit more.
That's definitely something we want to see. We want to see more collaboration with our European friends. So more Italians, Spanish, Germans coming over to compete with us, and vice versa, because I don't think those opportunities were quite there before for the UK based athletes. They kind of had to compete in the UK show, and that was kind of it. But now I'm more than happy to allow people to go and compete continentally myself. And there's a European circuit as well where pros can go and compete as well in championships. They've got the Swiss Championship, and I think it's in October.
Yeah, it's in October. It's the last weekend of October, I think. So
the pros can go and do that one. They'll have the World Championships to go and compete at as well. So we've got a season there.
Excellent. Well, guys, I appreciate you coming on. I think this was very, very insightful, and for Dan and I, we learned a little bit. So it's really good to see the things you guys are doing. So for the listeners, where can they find not only you guys, but any information on the WNBF UK and the announcements you guys are going to make? Okay, so we've got an Instagram. You're following it already, guys. So it's at WNBF_UK. There's also a website. The website's, we're updating it as we speak, but there is a presence on there. That's WNBFUK.co.uk. So UK.
There's a link on there on the first page if you want to drop your email in there for the first announcements of dates, etc. So if anybody wants to actually just be on our list for news to go out straight away, please let us know. We have the base lineup of the classes that will be there. However, criteria are being filled out. We're just sorting that out with Bob and Nancy over in the WNBF across there. And then there is us.
You can find us if you want to follow us.
You want to find us?
Then I'm Fueled by Scott's Oats.
We had that joke. So at Fueled by Scott's Oats on Instagram. It's Andrew, not Scott.
I already screwed that up. So
fine, Dan. We went into that. I like the from Scotland. Scott's Oats.
You're not the first.
Or the last.
And Steph Noble Figure Pro on Instagram as well. And if you want to find us on our coaching page, it's at Pro Prep Coaching.
Perfect. Well, everybody, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode. All of their social media will be linked down below so you can quick access as well. And again, guys, I appreciate you coming on, and I look forward to what's to come.
Awesome. Thanks for having us.
Cheers.
Thank you, Andrew and Stephanie.